I'm Michael Hyatt, and you're listening to You Might Know Her from With Ann and Damian.
Hey, hello, Damian.
Hey, Ann. Welcome, y'all, to another episode of You Might Know Her From.
With Damian and Ann.
It's us. We're here.
We're doing it, and I am another year older at this point when you're listening to me, folks. I had my birthday, my 38th birthday this past week, and my partner's birthday is 7 days before, so it's just like the end of September feels like one sort of long extended celebration in a great way, but also in an exhausting way. But I was treated by none other than Damian Bellino to two of my favorite presents of all time, and that includes an anonymous potato that had a picture of me in a bonnet in it that was sent in a package that said anonymous potato, because he knows how much I love potatoes, and two, a Rosie O'Donnell Show crew jacket, which is going to be the pride of my fall as far as I'm considered. I put it on this morning and I couldn't even snap a good enough picture to send to you, but I was really, the fit is impeccable, gorgeous. It's like, like you said, the arms are long and puffy, but like the fit in the body is good. It's like really, really nice.
It's going to look nice when you roll those sleeves up and have like a long sleeve sweater or t-shirt underneath it. And it's like oversized, but not like embarrassingly so. And also, I just want to just shout out Anonymous Potato. If you don't know what that means, I mean, they're just potatoes. I saw it on Shark Tank. I was going through a phase, and I watched it, and I wrote it down. I said, let's see if this company still exists. It must be shut down. And then they were still open, and I said, oh, okay, I need to order some of these for Anne because she loves baked potatoes. And basically, you just order, they like put messages on potatoes, or they will like, I thought they were going to like engrave a photo of you on a potato, but apparently they just like, it's like they taped a photo on it, which is awesome.
Honestly, if we can partner with Anonymous Potato on this podcast, like I'm not joking. If it gets us closer to Barbara Corcoran, I'm all in. But thinking of your great gift giving skills, that's like one of the things I love about you. But I was reminded of one of the gifts that you gave me that we haven't actually used together yet. And it made me think of it because I've been watching these videos on Instagram to fall asleep. And we've talked about how we've gone through like chiropractic videos and, like pimple popping videos.
Yeah. I love
blister popping, etc. I've moved on to like sty popping, the eye videos.
Oh, you know that I just did that recently.
Exactly. And so, but like I've really been comforted by #ear pimple. So Damian got me this like scope that goes into your ear and plugs
I forgot about that.
Laptop where you can see inside your ear as you're like scoping the inside of it with like a long stick.
It seems incredibly dangerous.
It's incredibly dangerous. It doesn't even have like a shield on it, so like you can only go so far.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that we should really schedule some time to explore each other's ears together.
Remember when you lived in Brooklyn and I came, it was like a weeknight too. And I just like laid on the sofa while you ear candled me because I always wanted to do it. I
bought an ear candle. Guess where I bought it? GNC.
Recently?
No, that's where I bought the ear candle to candle your ear. Oh. I know that it's total malarkey bullshit, the ear candling.
Yeah.
As someone who cleans their ear every 2 weeks with Debrox, I will tell you that ear candling is a joke. Hey folks, have you missed Body Talk? How's your sty?
My sty is gone. I really just, I nipped it in the bud, quite literally. I got it taken care of, and I was so nervous, and I was like, oh, I think I can get to this. And I handled it, and then it was back the next day, and I handled it again, and then it was gone. And I texted our friend of the show, Jeremy, and I had told him, because I know that he's had some run-ins with styes, and he was like, oh, well, you better keep it super clean now that you did that. So he was like, just wash it with like
hot washcloth. You got to use that hot washcloth. Compress.
Or baby shampoo. So I went and bought some baby shampoo.
Johnson & Johnson.
And I washed my eyes with Johnson & Johnson for like a week, morning and night.
And it's going well.
It was gone after 2 days. I went to Fire Island. I was so nervous about having a goiter on my eye and being at tea, and I said, I have to deal with this. So I just took it into my own hands, quite literally. Dr. Pimple Popper, Sandra Lee, not to be mistaken with former guest of the show.
Sandra Lee, yeah. Or Sandra Lee, former First Lady of New York State.
Yeah, we love her. I was actually just recently watching her make a Halloween cake. It's like that old video
where
she
it's the classic. It's a classic.
She like puts a cake in a cake and then covers it in like Cool Whip, and it's like.
But it's like brown, isn't it? Like brown and orange.
It's a Kwanzaa cake, actually. Yeah, and she throws like pecans on it. Like, it makes no sense. And she's like, this is for cons. And she like puts a candle in it.
Honestly, I love her so much. And, you know, it was sort of ironic for a long time when I loved her. And then my friend 10 years ago gave me her autobiography and I read it and it was really sad. It was like, oh my God, Sandra Lee's lived a lot of life. And then she was with Andrew Cuomo and I was like, gross, whatever, fine. But then they broke up. Then she was defending his nipples publicly. So I don't know what to think now as he has been disgraced, thank God. But I think that she has come out on top is the point. And I think that she is iconic in many ways.
Oh, yes, for sure. Is this where we should end our intro? Folks, are you with us? Are you feeling the groove this week?
This is what's important to us, folks. What's important to you? What's important to you? Let us know. We want to hear from you. We're back with season 4 of the pod. It's been, honestly, monumental so far. And we are just keeping the hits rolling. We've got an incredible episode for you this week. But you know what you can do? The best thing you can do if you love the show, if you want to support more body talk, if you want to be Skyped in, if you want to be zoomed into that ear candling call, let us know in a review. It's the best thing you can do for the podcast. Leave us a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast app. A few words will suffice. An emoji. We like to use a little cooked shrimp emoji as an A-OK. Mm-hmm. That's before it was the A-OK was like signaling for white supremacists. So we're going to have to rethink that. Maybe use the prawn emoji instead.
Good call. We have to maybe retire the shrimp. That makes me sad.
I know. They will fucking usurp everything. They take it all over.
So, folks, if you're new to the show, which, I mean, at this point, if you got this far, God bless you. But if you're new to the show, this is what we do. We, two idiot savants, talk about what we are thinking and talking and feeling, whether it's our bodies, whether it's something we're listening to or reading or feeling or watching. And then we interview a great, underrated actor, smack dab in the middle of all of our BS. So this week we have an incredible interview. It really, I was really quite taken with it. Not only does our guest, the great Michael Hyatt, have such a beautiful and engaging speaking voice, but she was just so warm and so down to clown. Like, she's so instantly yes-anded us from the beginning, and I mean, I can't thank her enough. It was a real pleasure.
You might know her from Snowfall,
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend,
True Detective,
The Little Things,
Ray Donovan,
Nightcrawler,
The West Wing,
and The Wire. We are just pleased as punch to be here with actor and singer Michael Hyatt. Michael, thank you for being here on the show with us.
I love you. Thank you for having me. I love this.
Michael, we have to dig right in because I'm on a binge journey with Snowfall. Oh. I'm very invested. And so we need to get right into it. And I need to set it up for our listeners. Yeah. You have played Cissy Saint, mother to the main protagonist, Franklin, for 4 seasons on the FX series Snowfall. Yes. The series chronicles the U.S. crack epidemic in the 80s in Los Angeles. And your character, Cissy, doesn't approve of her son's work, at least initially. But as the crack cocaine business sort of explodes and she loses her job, she finds herself sort of in business with him.
Yes.
How much did you know about Cissy's trajectory when you started the series? And how did what you know or knew inform how you created that character?
I knew John Singleton, the late great, was very generous in being as clear as he could about Cissy's storyline. So I had a general understanding of where this was going to go. I knew that at some point she would surrender to the realities that she has faced. You know, so in a general sense. How did I use that to form this experience? I didn't, because from my theater background, you really just act what is in the moment. You really just have what is on the page in that particular scene, in that particular moment, in that particular beat. And that's all you really care about. That's all I really care about. So what happens right then is what I focus on. And, you know, over these 4 years, we have had the amazing pleasure of meeting many, many people that this story really is about. We used to do press tours the first 3 years of the show, and we've met so many people whose stories we are telling that it's not even about acting for me. It's really just about being the vessel for these stories to come through. So I just do what's on the page and just let it come through.
So as you mentioned, the show was created, produced, and sometimes directed by the late, great John Singleton, who we lost in 2019. In past interviews that we read with you, you described him as both a painter and very intense. Can you tell us, what was his directing style with actors, and what did you take away from your experience with him?
Yeah, I tell you, no, he was intense because he always directed the 10th episode, the last of the season finale, and maybe it was the first season. I just remember a scene. Don't remember specifically what it was, but I was crying in my bedroom. And Franklin was about to knock on the door, and I answer, I clean up my tears and I answer the door, because I don't want him to know that I was crying. John is insane. He said to me, okay, I want you to be crying, and then I'm going to pan the camera this way, and when it gets close to you and you hear the knock, I want you to dry the tears, and then I want you to turn your face first so that the camera can pick up the tears, and then when the knock, dry up the tears, and then go to the door, and I'm like, are you out of your mind? Am I a fucking model? Am I a robot right now? Because I'm like guffaw crying. I mean, it was just so intense. And then I did it, but when I got to the door, I hadn't dried it up enough. So he cut, let's do it again. He was very, very specific about what he wanted. And my ego self was tripping because I'm like, I'm not a damn robot. I can't do it like that. And there came a point where I surrendered my ego, maybe just out of frustration because I wasn't doing it the way, and I just thought, just do it the way he wants you to do it. And the moment I surrendered myself to his instruction, we did that take and it made complete sense. And I knew I immediately became a part of the painting that he was painting. I don't know if I was the brush or the paint or whatever it was, but I became a part of his vision. Instead of trying to merge my vision with his, I just surrendered my whole self to where he wanted to take me. And that's when the magic happened. It was beautiful. Really. Yeah.
I mean, he was such a powerhouse.
Oh.
And it's so fascinating because I feel like as an actor, there are probably times where you're pushing against that.
Oh, sure.
Did you feel like the whole cast was sort of in it with him?
Oh, completely. The cast is predominantly of African descent, right? And those who aren't are also very familiar with John and his legacy. So you work with a man, with an artist whose legacy is out there for the whole world to see, and you come to the table with an understanding that you're working with excellence. Right? And many of the cast are newbies on one level or another. So they're not only eager to work with John Singleton, but they are also eager to learn, eager to lend themselves so that they can deepen their own art. And who else to gain instruction from somebody like John Singleton? Willing, absolutely, to this day.
Yeah. And we should note that the show is renewed for season 5.
Amen.
And we'll be
Yeah. We start filming in September. Yeah, after Labor Day.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
If you aren't watching Snowfall, you need to. It's all available on Hulu currently.
So let's get into one of the credits you mentioned, which is, of course, a show that's often in conversation with Snowfall, and that's the landmark HBO series The Wire, where you played Brianna Barksdale, D'Angelo's mom, Avon's older sister. This role was a huge breakout for you, and as we all know, has been canonized as, quote, one of the greatest TV shows of all time. Is there any part of you and that cast that had any idea of sort of what you were a part of while you were filming it?
No, not me. By that time, I was living in New York, and then my boyfriend and I bought a house in the Poconos, which is about an hour and a half away from New York, right? I was just getting claustrophobic. I couldn't take New York no more. I wanted something, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't afford Jersey. Saw some great apartments in Jersey, that overlook the skyline. Couldn't afford that shit. So we bought a house in the Poconos. Right. So by the time The Wire was the success that it was, literally, I was driving back and forth from the Poconos to work, and I wasn't in the city where the hubbub was. So I didn't catch any of that. But what I do remember is I remember having a conversation with Idris on set one day. And he was, I don't know what season it was, like season 2, I don't remember. And he was saying, know what's going to come of this. And I know how to speak French. I could easily go back to Europe. And I was saying to him, dude, I think you should stay here for a while and see how it goes. I mean, this is a pretty good role for you. And, none of us knew. And I had just gotten out of grad school. This was my first real gig out of grad school. I barely knew camera work. So I had no idea. I wasn't even concentrating on that. Literally, it was a job. I was broke before. I was grateful to be working. And again, my focus has not ever been success. My focus has always been booking the next job and doing the best that I can do with that. I'm a theater kid. In theater, you don't think about making millions and, all of that. You think about getting the next job. Once the show opens, what's my next gig? So that was just always my consciousness.
And did you have like an affinity for Baltimore, having grown up in that sort of like, you spent time as a young person, like in the DC area, right?
Yeah.
So like, were you familiar with Baltimore?
Not a shit. Not at all. I grew up, I was in Maryland, in Silver Spring, Maryland, and then went to undergraduate in DC at Howard University. I had not ever been to Baltimore. I'd not ever been deep into Maryland. So I knew nothing of it. And it wasn't until I was filming that I discovered Baltimore and just how diverse it was. Like there were these wonderful apartments by the lake, and then this wonderful Johns Hopkins, world renowned, and then the ghetto. And it's just such a mixture of energies in Baltimore. It was quite interesting. My sister went to school at Morgan State, which is an HBCU, a historically Black college or university. So I had visited her there a few times, but I didn't know Baltimore very much at all.
So, Michael, you've played a string of detectives on Ray Donovan, on season 2 of True Detective, and in the feature film Nightcrawler. These are just to name some of the more, substantial detective roles. What do you think it is about you that says detective?
That is a great question.
Oh, I appreciate you saying so.
What is it about me that speaks detective? I think my energy is very grounded. Let's see. I'm thinking as a singer right now. I'm an alto. I'm a bass alto, whatever. I'm a chest, and I just come from here. Yes. And I think that is a lot of who these women are. I guess that is my masculine energy, right? I'm guttural. I come from my center. And I think these women, certainly these women that I represent, are not ingenues, and I am not an ingenue. I just come from base, and I think that serves the detectives, the chiefs, the captains, those women that I play.
Yeah.
I mean no disrespect to the ingenues and all of those things, because
please disrespect.
Yeah, we're not interested in them.
We're not here for it.
A lot of G's. But I just, my energy is very comfortable in a man's world, quote unquote. And I don't mind swinging my dick as they swing theirs. Yeah?
Phenomenal. Yeah.
You said that on True Detective, you never got to read an entire script, so you were only given your lines. How do you approach that kind of material when it's shrouded in secrecy?
It was such bullshit. I mean, no disrespect to the whoever, the director, producer. What the fuck was that about? That was just ego tripping like crazy. I remember we were on set and there was a scene that we were setting up. And there was an actor who's been acting for years. He was playing an extra. But he was saying, okay, so what is this scene and what are we doing? And the director looked at him and said, "Who are you? You're an extra, right? You sit there, you look at that person, and that's all you do." And I thought, this motherfucker's crazy. It was such, whoever he was, and I don't remember who he was, but it was such ego. It was such stupidity to think that somehow you're above. It's just so ridiculous to treat actors with such disrespect, to feel that they're only worthy of knowing the lines that they speak. It's just dumb. And I don't think it produces any sort of intrigue or whatever he was trying to create. It didn't work. Anyway, at the end of the day, my job is to represent the woman whose story I'm supposed to be telling. So once again, you get rid of all of that ego bullshit and you focus on the story that you have to tell, the scene, the moment, because in anything, all you have is that moment. All you're focused on is telling that moment at that time, that line at that time. Everything else will come in its own time. So just focus right here and fuck everything else. That's how you deal.
So, okay, in Ray Donovan, you start opposite a Boston-accented Jon Voight. In True Detective, you start opposite a very greasy Colin Farrell. And in Nightcrawler, you start opposite a sunken-eyed Jake Gyllenhaal. Please tell us, for the love of God, which of those actors was like the most fun to play with and who was the most quote-unquote method and difficult?
Ooh, chill. You asking for stories, honey.
We have our guesses, but based on all three.
I really enjoyed working with.
Okay. It doesn't need to be difficult. It could just be most method.
Most method. I don't. I would say Colin was the most method.
Interesting.
John is at a well, I don't know anything about the brother, but when you work with somebody who is such a veteran of the art, he's at a stage in his artistic development where he wakes up speaking this, he pees it, he drinks it like water. It's no big deal to him. Do you know what I'm saying? It just is an is. He's not learning. It's just an is. And he does it so naturally, so organically because he's been doing it forever. Us youngins, the method and all of that shit. And Colin was lovely to work with because I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. I mean, he was as disappointed in the artistic process as far as the not knowing your scenes or not knowing what comes next as I was, and we shared our feelings on that, and so we created a rapport which made things so much easier when you have the opportunity to connect with your fellow actors. Things become so very organic and you're not standing out there on your own.
Thank you. Got it.
There you go.
You co-star in writer-director Rosemary Rodriguez's 2001 indie darling Acts of Worship.
Oh my gosh.
About Alex, a woman battling drug addiction, and you portray Digna, a recovering addict whose own sobriety is challenged when she tries to help Alex.
Oh my gosh, you're pulling shit out of... That's amazing. Go ahead.
Well, we wanted, I feel like it's important to see the breadth of it, and, being one of the anchors of this hyper-realistic and gritty film, we were curious if that changed your approach to the project. It centers around these two women. You are one of them. And what sort of research you did for that. Was it different?
Acts of Worship was the first project that I worked on out of grad school. Actually, the lead in the show, Anna Reeder, is a sister I went to school with. She and I were in the same class at grad school at NYU. I remember having a conversation with Anna. She was playing a heroin addict, and, we were young. I mean, obviously, we had just come out of school. We were brand new to all of this, and we were all searching to find where we fit and who we were artistically and blah, blah, blah. And I remember talking with Anna, and she was saying, how do we play authentically? How do we truthfully represent these women's stories, and do we need to go shoot some drugs or something? I mean, do we need to, how deep do we need to be invested in this story? And I was just like, yeah, I'm good with just telling the story. I'm good with that because I know it is a real thing when there are some method actors, there are some actors who feel the need to completely submerge themselves in the character's truth in order to properly represent them. And more power to you. But whenever I audition for something, especially in New York, you go face beat, hair whipped, you have your shoes in your backpack and you go and you thing. And I would make it a habit to wash my face off. I would find a bathroom, whether it be in that building, whether it was a corporate building, or I remember one time it was in the Village and it was it was in downtown wherever, and it was close to Robert De Niro's restaurant. And I thought, well, shit, I have no reason to go in there, but I'm gonna go in there, use that bathroom and wash my face off. Then I can at least say I went to Robert De Niro's restaurant. But it was important for me to wash my face off, completely cleanse my face, change my clothes, put my hair back up in a bun or whatever it was, and then step back into the world, because I needed to close that chapter for the day or the moment and leave that world behind so that I can go back into the world and function as me, right? And so that's how I approached Digna. I forgot her name. In the moment, while I am there, I lived in the truth of this woman's reality. And again, all you have to do is to surrender to the words on the page. If you believe what is being written and you have committed to this, you surrender to the words on the page and trust that the story, the art will come through it. You are the vessel, right? And then when it's done, wash your face off, go home, and trust that your truth alone is what this needed for the story to be told. You don't have to go out and snort heroin. You don't have to. That's just my approach. I mean no disrespect to those who feel they need to dive into, because I got to take care of me, right? I need to be ready for the next gig and the next audition, I can't tear myself apart like that for every production. That's a scary place to be.
Do you teach?
No, I don't.
Because I think about, like, you obviously have the capacity for that because you have a rich interior life, you have the imagination and the craft behind it. What do you do when you encounter someone that doesn't possess it, that you're working with on screen, that can't get there? Can you still do what you do? Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. You have to, right? That's my job.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes. I once worked with an actor who I had to do that very thing. They were struggling to get through the scene, and you just have to focus on, okay, I know the story, I know what it is, and you do your part. There are times in better circumstances where, for whatever reason, the actor's nervous, they're disconnected, and they may be available for guidance. And really, just look at me. Just connect with me. Let's just be here. Fuck everything else. Let's just be here. I remember actually on The Wire when I was nervous, and the actor who played my son, Lawrence, he said to me, forget everything and just look at me. And the moment I allowed myself to do that, everything just fell into place. So in worst case scenarios, do your job. In best case scenarios, fuck everything else and just connect.
I love it. So as Damian was saying, it was fun to dive back into some roles that we were not familiar with. So we found this movie by Tina Mabry, a Black queer female filmmaker, her 2009 film Mississippi Damned. So this family drama deals with the sort of cycles of addiction, violence, and abuse in Tupelo, Mississippi. Can you talk about whether or not working on, Rosemary and Tina's sets, having these sort of women at the helm, felt different than some of your experiences working with a male writer, director, auteur?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to take any credit or respect away from any of the male directors that I have worked with, but there is something incredibly beautiful that happens when you are being directed by a woman. There is, so far in my experience, less ego, less need to be right, more willingness to listen, and more willingness for a collaboration, right? As long as everybody respects the role that they're playing, this is director, I'm actor, blah, blah, blah. There has been a more collaborative energy on set. And you know what? Maybe it is because I've worked on a film before, but a small role. Maybe it is because we were all new. We were all just beginning. That was Rosemary's first film. Tina, that was Tina's first film. And of course, I was the neophyte as well. And we were all eager to be a part of something truthful, to lend our best selves to this project, because that's what we were. We were artists looking for the next really juicy things to sink our teeth into. So there was a lot of checking in with each other, feedback from each other, bouncing off of each other's energy. And it was really beautiful. When you work with younger men, like, we have a lot of directors that come on Snowfall and they're new. The wonderful thing about Snowfall is the executive producers are very committed to creating opportunities for young ones, right? So there are some young ones that come on that they haven't done much, but they have a talent and they have a gift and they have a vision. And because we have been living in these characters for 3-4 seasons, they are willing to collaborate with us and listen to what we have to say. But many times you come on a set, whether as a recurring or it's a movie or whatever, and there's more directing traffic that is done. And again, I'm not speaking for every male director that I've worked with. Some of them, of course, are collaborative. But there's a lot of directing traffic, and you do have to work around the egos a bit, which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, please go find Mississippi Damned. It's a little difficult to find online. We're going to link out to it in the show. Tina Mabry, also very cool and continuing to direct in the industry, working on Queen Sugar and lots of other very popular shows. So it's a great film and also has a young Tessa Thompson. So highly recommend.
Right. Yeah, she's blown up and shit. Good for her. Yes. Yes.
Okay, Michael.
Yeah.
You played Rebecca's therapist, Dr. Akopian, on 4 seasons of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and got to show off your tremendous musical chops in numbers like Dream Ghost with Amber Riley and Ricky Lake, and Antidepressants Are So Not a Big Deal. Honestly, we know you mostly from, as you said, the gravitas, the guttural, the sort of dramatic work, and it was so refreshing to see you in a comedy role. Was it refreshing for you to do something and, sort of brush up on your musical theater skills?
Absolutely. It had always been my dream to sing again. Once I left New York, I didn't think that I would ever have that opportunity once I chose the camera. So it was really beautiful to sing. And I didn't know that I would have a chance to sing. And when she came up with the Dream Girls thing, I was like, what? I get to sing it then? What was that one?
The Maybe This Time parody where you got to,
yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It was such joy. I didn't know how to do, I had to learn. I developed a beautiful friendship with still to this day with Donna Lynn Champ. Oh, she's my diva girl.
Love her, yeah.
And she taught me how to sing with the camera. Like, I had no idea how to do that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because, I'm musical theater. Well, I did, Broadway when you're on stage and you're doing this. But how do you do that? How do you do this in front of the camera? But you just learn and you adjust. It was lighter. Working with Rachel was lovely. This young, vibrant, energetic woman who had such cojones. I was so proud of her and inspired by her. And just to laugh it up, man, just to laugh it. And I didn't see it as very different from what I do now, because she's ultimately a therapist. And the things that we were dealing with in the room were serious shit. But, we found our moments, and it was beautiful to just be able to do something a little different. It was lovely.
So, Michael, your theater credits include Ragtime on Broadway, Shakespeare in the Park. You were in one of the original productions of Denai Guerrera's Eclipsed. You did a show at New York City Center, and you got your first job at the Arena Stage in D.C. Now that you have this established film and TV career, is there a musical theater role that would bring you back to the New York stage?
I would love it. It doesn't have to be musical theater. I mean, I would love to, but it just bring me back to the stage. I miss the rehearsal process. I truly miss being in the room with all of the actors, and we all get together with the book and break it down together. And then the scene work that we all do. I miss that. I miss the audience. I miss the live experience and the terror that goes with doing things live. I really do miss Shakespeare a lot. I would love to revisit, not only on Broadway, but I was born in England, and my father did theater in London for years, and I look forward to one day conquering that check off the list, working in the West End. I love the energy. I love the spiritual energy that comes from being in those theaters that have so many years of stories. To be a part of those stories would be a great pleasure.
We are ready for you to come back. We are ready.
Yeah, please come back.
I would love it. It will happen. It will happen.
Okay.
Okay, Michael. So now we have entered the part of the show that we call rapid fire. It's really rapid fire for us because we're just like firing a lot of nonsensical things at you with no transitions. You can take your time if you need to, but if you want to be rapid, you can. It's free for all.
Okay. Got it.
You are a woman named Michael. So is actress Michael Michelle from New Jack City, Michael Learned from The Waltons, and bassist for the Bangles, Michael Steele. Have you ever met any of these other women Michaels? And if so, was there a head nod?
Not at all. I have not. That would be lovely. Michael Michelle. No. Who was the woman that directed? No, I have not. It would be, hey, how you doing? Yeah, no, I have not.
Okay, Michael, you were in Pushing Tin, which was the movie that, of course, introduced Angelina Jolie to Billy Bob Thornton. Did you witness any sparks flying while on set?
Oh, is that where they met? Oh, those two were in that? I've never seen that movie. No, I met Billy Bob Thornton there. He was in one of the two scenes I was in. He was a lovely gentleman. But no, I did not see the two of them. Oh, that's right. They were married. No, I don't know him.
We had to ask.
Michael, you were cast as D'Angelo's mom on The Wire, despite the fact that you're just 2 years older than Lawrence Gilliard Jr., the actor who portrayed him. What the fuck is wrong with this industry?
Child, don't say shit, because I was grateful that I had a job, okay? For real. Okay, so don't change nothing. I mean, why not? It is, coming from theater, and especially, coming from grad school and undergrad, where you're playing roles that are way older than you. Is the story being told? Is the truth being told? Then fuck whoever's age is whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't think anybody had a problem visually seeing me and this young man together. There are lots of women who have children young. Fuck all that bullshit. We told a story and it was a good story. That's all that matters.
It was very good. Yeah. Okay. Okay, fuck, marry, kill the following items: Dr. Akopian's sweater dresses, the beaded curtains in Cissy's home, or one of Sheila's many blazers from Ray Donovan.
Dr. Akopian, baby. They rocked her wardrobe, Haunty. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They had me in some scarves and some this and some Dr. Akopian, absolutely.
So, but you have to fuck one, you have to marry one, and you have to kill one. So if you had to kill one, who would you kill?
Not the character, just the item. So like
the sweater dresses, the beaded curtains, or the blazers.
Oh, I'm fucking them beaded curtains, honey. That is totally my genre. Oh, absolutely. I would fuck the shit out of that one. Kill. What did you have for Brianna? Was it Brianna?
No, it was Dr. Akopian sweater dresses or the blazers from Ray Donovan.
Oh, kill Ray Donovan. Kill the blazers from Ray Donovan. Marry the things from Akopian. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, you play Flo, a coroner, in the Denzel Washington star vehicle, The Little Things, that came out this year. All of your scenes, including the one where you examine a body while listening to, I believe, Aaron Neville, are opposite Denzel. Describe working with an otherworldly movie star like Denzel in 3 words.
Absolute spiritual magic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's just like, aren't that many movie stars like that left. And it's like, he seems like it just would be other level.
But in for different reasons than I think you or the world would think. Because Denzel is, I don't know anything about, his process. And he and I sat across from each other with our scripts in our folders. We both have this, we do our research, we mark up our scripts, and we have it in a thing. And we sat across from each other with our scripts, and we dissected the relationship, the characters, the blah, blah, blah. We connected artistically and spiritually. He's a very spiritual, conscious man. And because of that, once you have Denzel's respect, as we say in Jamaica, you're gone clear. Artistically, once he respects the work that you do, it's open ball game, baby. It's let's go, because now you're bouncing off each other and you're just connecting. So it was a truly artistic, because it was just so organic. Most of the stuff that we did, it unfortunately didn't make it was on the cutting floor, and that's fine, because I took away from it such beautiful artistic connection and such a beautiful spiritual conversation with this man, nonverbal as well as verbal, but just wonderful energy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's a theater kid too.
He's a complete theater kid. So when I tell you, we had our scripts open, every page was marked up and this, that, and stuff, that's just where we come from, Yeah.
Okay, Michael, you've said that the 5-episode arc you landed on The West Wing was originally written for Angela Bassett, but she wasn't prepared to do TV at the time. By the way, the character's name was Angela. You also appeared, as we said before, on Aaron Sorkin's ill-fated one-seasoner, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Which show had more of the classic Sorkin walking and talking, and was that something you had to practice?
Holy shit! Of course, West Wing. Holy shit! West Wing, baby! Oh my God, and don't fuck it up. Oh my God. That was so intimidating. But man, when it works, it's magic. Absolutely. The walk and talking drama from West Wing was, you better know your shit. And I came in, I think it was season 5 or something like that. And I was a fan of the show, which was a mistake. Not a mistake, but that was the hardship, because I was in awe of all of these actors. And scene, action, go. And I'm like, and I had to learn how to get over my intimidation. I had to stop seeing these people as fucking gods and realize that, Allison Janney, she has a period and she probably bleeds on her panties, and whatever the dudes are, their toes probably stink. They probably got athlete's foot. I had to take it back to that so that I could work with these guys and just, walk and talk. Because at the end of the day, let's get the shot, walk and talk and do it with confidence and blah, blah, blah. That was a journey. It was like being in school again. It was wonderful and scary.
Okay, Michael, last question. It's a doozy. I have to warn you.
Come on.
You've said that growing up, you loved Entertainment Tonight. So if you had to good son John Tesh or Mary Hart, who would you choose?
Mary Hart. Mary Hart. Are you kidding? Oh my God, Mary Hart. Because he had a drug problem, right? And he left the show. Wasn't that him? No, that was Access Hollywood, that other person.
That's Pat.
Oh my God. Right.
I love you for knowing this. Why can't I say his last name? The glasses, the slick back hair.
Yes,
the voicemail was released.
It was a very creepy sexual voicemail.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's right. No, yeah, John Tesh was... Yes, that was that 80s look with the hair. No, Mary Hart. Mary Hart was Entertainment Tonight, period.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. If they were on the edge of a cliff and it was Mary Hart and John Tesh,
Mary Hart would have my back every fucking time.
She'd save Mary Hart, folks.
Absolutely, boo. Can't have Entertainment Tonight without Mary Hart. What? Come on now. No. John Tesh is who you cut to after Mary Hart had the opening. You cut to John Tesh after, but Mary Hart led the way, boo. You know that. Come on.
John Tesh is incidental. Get rid of him.
I love you, John.
Michael Hyatt, thank you so much for joining us on You Might Know Her From. This has been a total joy.
I love you guys. Continued success, darling. You deserve it.
I have to say that there are line readings of Michael Hyatt's from this interview that will live on in my brain forever. And I'm just going to tell you that one of them is, I love you, John. The way she said she loved John Tesh at the end of the interview really tickled me to death. I've been thinking about it literally all week, listening to the edit of her saying, I love you, John. And also when she talked about John Singleton and said, this motherfucker's crazy.
And I've never liked anyone saying hunty more than hearing Michael Hyatt say it, in relation to costumes that she got to wear on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Dr. Akopian. Yes, hunty. Yes. I was like, oh my God, I love Michael Hyatt so much. So fucking funny. And it's also one of those, getting to talk to her about how she is known for and, the gravitas and the pathos that she brings into all of her roles. But God, the humor and the comic timing, it was just so fun. And I really do hope that we get to see her on the stage sometime soon. And she said quite confidently it will happen. So I believe her.
And when she does come to do a show in New York, we will go see her after the show and just say, it was Pat O'Brien. Thank you, Daniel Sears, for informing us that the man that we were thinking of with the mustache and the glasses was Pat O'Brien, disgraced Access Hollywood host, Pat O'Brien.
He had the voicemails come out, right? But is that
Pat had the aggressively drunken, sexy voicemails about just leaving really long, lewd voicemails on maybe a coworker's phone. He went into rehab. Hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully that woman is safe and okay. I love entertainment TV shows, and we are big fans over here. So it was like a thrill that Michael Hyatt had a deep love for Mary Hart.
I loved Entertainment Tonight and also a little bit extra in Access Hollywood, but mostly Entertainment Tonight as a young person. Watched it constantly.
Kit, what was Kit on?
Kit Hoover, she's on, I believe she's still on Access Hollywood Morning Edition.
Loved her on Road Rules.
Yeah, good for Kit. She's really carved herself a place out of the table.
Folks, if you know the show, you know that we love to tease next week's episode. So, Damian, can you connect our guest today, Michael Hyatt, to next week's guest using only women that she has worked with in the industry?
Why, Anne, I'm so glad you asked. I sure can. Okay, so this week's guest, Michael Hyatt, stars in Pushing Tin, a movie that she has never seen herself in. Also starring in that film is former guest of the show, Vicki Lewis. Vicky provides a voice in the Finding Nemo sequel, Finding Dory, which also features Oscar winner Diane Keaton. Diane Keaton, of course, won her Oscar for Annie Hall, where acclaimed actress Colleen Dewhurst played her mother. And Colleen Dewhurst was in Anne of Green Gables with next week's guest.
Oh, I am excited for this beauty.
Oh, if you know us
At all,
this one was, I was hot for it. I was hot. I hope that we have some fans of the Anne of Green Gables series because I'm so excited to talk about it.
Look, you little 101 pounds of fun, our sweet little honey buns. Follow us on social media. You know where to find us. It's at Damian Bellino and Rodeman. That's RODEMANNE on all platforms.
You Might Know Her From is produced by us. That would be Ann Lieber Rodeman and Damian Michael Bellino. We also want to thank our consultants at Grumpy Entertainment. That would be Jason Jude Hill and Daniel Sears. They help us just keep the good thing going. And all of that editing you hear, all that squeaky clean, super tight editing is also by Daniel Sears.
Special thanks to Gang. All the music that you hear on each and every episode of You Might Know Her From is courtesy of Gang. You can download and stream Gang's music wherever you listen to yours. And baby, if you need a reference shot of John Voight in Ray Donovan opposite Michael Hyatt, guess where you can find it? In the show notes. It's each and every week where I am putting all of the hits. You're going to get Pat O'Brien's voicemails in there. It is going to be a bevy of treasures. Get into it. I just want to tell you that my sister-in-law Haven, who I, dear God, love so much, works at a dermatology office, and she gets to take her knife blades home with her sometimes. And she says, "You ever need anything cut out? I take my number 5 home with me." She has offered it up, and let me tell you, members of my family have taken her up on it. I feel like I've really upped my ante in my family connections to now have someone that has a scalpel at home ready to cut something off my face if I need to.
Okay, listen, next time Haven is in New York, please ask her if she will bring it. Check it in her bag.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I will find something that I want her
We're just going to go on an exploratory mission. I found something in my armpit that I think I need to get checked out right now.
Oh, I also can help you. We'll put an ice cube. I will sterilize. I did it before. Yeah.
What about tying it off with dental floss?
It's too gross for me, honestly. I'd rather put some rubbing alcohol over it, put an ice cube on top of it to get it nice and cold, and then you get a pair of cuticle scissors or nail clipper. You burn it.
You're just going to cut it right off.
Yeah, when you get. Well, I mean, it's yeah.
What about the blood supply?
We're gonna put some gauze on it. I'm gonna hold it. A lot of pressure. I think you'll be okay.
We're going to crack a bottle of champagne for this. I'm excited.